Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to MBA Unfiltered. My name is Akash Shinde. In this video, we are going to have a candid conversation with Kopal. She has cracked IMT Ghaziabad as well as Great Lakes Chennai. In this video, we'll ask her regarding his preparation as well as how she prepared for the interviews. So Kopal, welcome back to our channel. How are you?
I'm good, Akash. How are you?
I'm also good. So Kopal, please tell us the audience regarding your background, 10th, 12th, UG, as well as the work experience that you have, and what kind of certification that you had in your past career.
Sure. So my 10th, 12th, and UG scores to be specific are 9.2 CGPA, 91%, and 8.47 CGPA respectively.
Mm-hmm.
I did my 12th in commerce with math, and I did my bachelor's in commerce from Mount Carmel College, Bangalore. That's a little bit about my academics.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, from college, I got placed into KPMG. So I joined as an audit associate, worked there for approximately 4 years, and I resigned as an executive. That was my last held position.
Okay. Since you worked in the industry, the first thing that comes to my mind is why do you want to do an MBA at this point? Like, what's the motto of doing an MBA for you since you worked in the industry?
Yeah, the audit industry in that sense is very constrained with the growth. You have to be a CA or an ACCA to move up the ladder. And I did not have any of that when I was working at KPMG. So I knew I needed a degree, I needed to upskill myself. And MBA seems like the best degree to go for,
Okay.
and specifically the 1 year degree.
Okay, got it. So, Gopal,
Uh,
I wanted to understand since you thought of getting into MBA, which exams have you written and how many colleges have you converted?
so I have written both GMAT and GRE.
Mm-hmm.
And I had applied to 4 colleges that accepted GMAT/GRE. So I'd applied to ISP, I'd applied to IMT Ghaziabad, I'd applied to Bitstorm, and I'd applied to Great Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Two of them were using GMAT, two were through my GRE.
Okay. So, Gopal, since you cracked IMT Ghaziabad, right? Can you tell us the audience regarding from the application phase to the interview phase, like how has been the duration for you, and post that we'll try to ask you regarding your interview experience.
So the admission process was pretty smooth. They have a website and very clearly they list out exactly what you want. The one thing I liked about their process was we don't have to write SOPs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I don't like SOPs. I enjoy writing SOPs, but the process is very faster because you don't have to write SOPs. It's just a matter of giving your information, giving your certificates. So it's all very documentational, the whole process of applying to IMT.
Mm-hmm.
And um, after that, um, they do, if you have, this is just like a point for everybody, if you're applying to IMT and you have any kind of managerial experience with the company that you're working with, it would be good to have either a job description or a written, what is it called, like, um, letter of recommendation from your
Mm-hmm. LOR.
employer. If that is yeah, the LOR, if you specifically mention you have some managerial responsibility, then you
Mm-hmm.
have to justify that. So they will ask for such documentation, and therefore you should keep them handy anytime that you go and apply for them,
Yeah.
with them, sorry. So that was about the applications. Apart from that, it was pretty smooth. Uh, no hiccups there.
Oh, okay. So, Gopal, since you applied for the institute, you prepare for it, right? The main phase comes when it comes to GD and PI, right? So, could you let us know regarding your interview experience? In that, we wanted to understand what was the duration of the interview, how many questions that were asked, what kind of topics that they covered during the interviews, how many, and was it a grilling interview or was it a normal interview?
So I'll start with the GDPR because that happened first. Um, just a word of advice before we start our tech deep. I would suggest that whichever slot you're given, arrive on the slot at least half an hour to an hour before, so that you get to finish it faster. My only supporting argument for that would be that you don't have to wait in anticipation as to when your time is going to come, and you're here waiting with a whole lot of people. If you don't want to get riled up, be there early so that you can get your slot early. And when you get your slot, let's say with the third slot or the second slot for what particular panel, you also get to know what panelists are asking. So I would suggest be a little tactful when you're sitting in the interview and see how they are asking people to come forward. Don't be too far ahead in the line, but neither too far behind in the line. So be a little tactful there. You remain fresh and you give it well. With respect to PT or GD, so there was a group discussion, there was critical thinking, and my topic was electric vehicles will wipe out oil engine vehicles.
Okay.
I took a very balanced approach there. I spoke about how the impact of war might, in a way, skew the progress of electric vehicles in terms of will procuring lithium be easy or difficult. So I started right from the raw material, whether it will be easier to obtain it or not. Then I moved to the demand and supply aspect of it. So I built a base of demand and supply, moved with the other aspect of it, which was the supply. And I took a neutral position. I said that while it will definitely be the future, we can't say for certain today whether it will completely wipe out oil engine vehicles. And then I had some points to and for both of these arguments. So you can pick up whatever side you want, but you have to justify it very, very well. You can't just say yes or just say no without having an idea of why your opinion is like that. One more word of advice or caution is don't mention any number or any article or anything unless you can quote it. So if you're putting anything in quotes or you're saying that by 2020 or 2025, sorry, number is going to be X, Y, and Z, mean the source that you're getting it from. Because some people, not me, but some people were also quizzed on their written materials. So if you've mentioned the number there or if you mentioned something there, they'll ask you where you got this number from. So just be very careful, very nuanced, and be prepared to get asked any questions even from your critical thinking paper, because the interviewer has your paper.
Yeah.
So
guys, until and unless you don't have that strong clarity regarding the data as well as fact figure that you are quoting, don't mention it. If you have strong clarity and if you have some hypothesis as well as documents behind it, then speak it up. Yeah. So Kopal, now we are done with the GD. Let us know your experience regarding interview, because interview is a defining point for any aspirant, and that defines whether you will get a seat into the campus or not. So please walk us through the interview experience and what kind of question that we asked you.
So my questions, they weren't very specific to one particular thing. I was prepared for getting a lot of questions on my work experience. I did not get as many. To begin with, I had two panelists. Both of them were female. They were in their mid, I'm not sure, but maybe 30s to 40s, I would say. And to me, they looked both like professors. They didn't necessarily introduce themselves, so I didn't really know who they were. But the first panelist, if I just have to give you question by question, the first panelist asked me what is the meaning of my name. My name is Kopal. So she asked me what is the meaning of my name. And then when I answered that, she said, how do you relate the meaning of your name to your journey, to your MBA journey? Which was also a question that I got asked in Great Lake. So that was a common theme. So naturally, I was a little bit more at ease because it was something about myself and I could expand on it. Then she said, do you remember anything about your undergrad, like your degree, your graduation? I said, yes, I do remember some subjects. And then she mentioned which was my favorite subject, why it was my favorite subject, and what do I remember from my degree. So for me, it was a little difficult to recollect because I'd been in college like 4 years before this interview.
Right.
So you have to do some on-the-spot thinking there. And I said financial management. And I told her, I was honest with her. I said, ma'am, I don't remember everything about financial management, but vaguely I remember these discussions. So she didn't seem very intrigued by it, but she moved on. She did not grill me on that. Then she asked me what is the difference between business objective and business function. It's a it was such a simple question, but I think what we tend to do is we over prepare for everything else, and somehow sometimes we forget like the basics.
Right.
So I did make a little bit of a blunder, if I can say, in this question. She had to ask me two more follow-up questions for me to actually get there. But then when I did, she was happy, she was satisfied, she smiled. It was all okay. And then she asked me why I resigned from KPMG, it's a big four.
Mm-hmm.
There would be no growth hurdle. So she just wanted to know why I resigned from KPMG, why I would leave my firm. And then she was done. And then she handed over to the other panelist.
Mm-hmm.
The other panelist, she started asking me questions about my work. And when
Mm-hmm.
I started to explain it in depth, I think she understood that I know what I'm doing. So
Right.
then she wanted to quiz me on something else. Like she paused me a lot when I was talking about my work, but I was pretty confident. I knew what I had done. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime she asked me a question, I was able to answer and I was expanding it in detail. So she cut me. She then went on to ask me something about my work, very specific, which was, okay, if you worked on audit, then tell me how you would calculate budget hours on the audit.
Right.
That was again something that I think she was just trying to test me on how spontaneous I was.
Mm-hmm.
I answered, and she then moved on and she asked me, "Have you read any business news in depth?" So
Mm-hmm.
I told her, I was very frank, I was very candid. I said, ma'am, I've not read anything in depth, but I was abreast to some business developments that were happening at the time, like Geo has launched Geo coins and Minimalist was acquired by HUL. So these were two, three business related news that I told her I know about, but
Mm-hmm.
I haven't deep dived into them.
Okay.
And then she said, okay, fine. And when they both asked if you have any questions for us, I asked them, uh, I think it's a good thing to have a question for them.
Mm-hmm.
My question was when professors are doing research, so your college is known by your professor and the kind of research that they are doing. So my question was, do professors involve kids in those or the students into those research? And do they bring that research paper into the curriculum? And do they also teach it to people, to their students? So they answered me on that, and then that was about it. It was just around 15 to 20 minutes, the whole process.
Okay. So after,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was.
that was a nice interview experience, I would say. After how many days have you got the result from IMT Ghaziabad, and how many days have you have to wait for the results?
So I got my result very recently, actually. I think I got it towards the end of March, anywhere
Mhm.
from 24th March. My interview had taken place on the 9th of February.
Okay. It almost
So
take
it,
1.5 months
yeah,
for you.
yeah, 1.5 months. So that is something that they disclose it on their website because IMT conducts interviews in a lot of locations. So their interviews go until March 1st also, March 2nd, and they take around that time. So you'll have to wait it out for results.
Got it. So Gopal, how MBA Unfilter has helped you during your journey, and how do you got to know about us?
So I got to know about MBA Unfiltered through YouTube. At the time, I was applying for Great Lakes and I came across this channel and I
Mm-hmm.
joined the link to the channel that was mentioned.
Community.
This particular channel would be for Great Lakes, yeah, the community, sorry.
Mhm.
And that's how I came across MBA Unfiltered and I got in touch with everybody.
Mhm.
So I specifically interviewed more, I would say, with Yash and Abhinav. I think I had an interview with you once,
Yeah.
and then the rest of the two with Abhinav and Yash. I would say that it was a good experience because after a very long time, I was sitting in for an interview. So I just needed to be quizzed about different things. And I think it happens with most people who are working because you're so used to talking, you
Mm-hmm.
don't realize what an interview experience is like. Like sometimes you find that interviews are hostile, but they're actually not.
Right.
So I think it's always a good option to get some help there. And I do think that I got a lot of help from MBA and research in that aspect.
Yeah. So, Gopal, last question from my side. What's your advice to the students who are preparing for these institutes? And what are the do's and don'ts that they should do during this preparation so that it will be very easy for them to become your, juniors?
So I think the one thing would be to be candid. If you don't know anything, just say you don't know. And instead of saying, ma'am, I don't know, and leaving it at that, or sir, I don't know, you can also say, ma'am, while I'm not aware about this, I would definitely love to go read up on it. So that shows that you're honest, and you have this intention to go learn beyond the interview. While you do it or not, it's really none of anybody's business. But
Mhm.
you need to put it across in that way. I would say don't beat around the bush. Be
Mhm.
honest. That's the first and most important. Second, I would say is whenever you are preparing and you're going for an interview and you see other people, try to talk to them, but try to maintain a distance so that you don't let anybody get to your head. Not that anyone is trying to, but when you see so many people around, it can make you feel like, oh, this is so competitive, etc., etc.
Mhm.
So calm yourself down, talk to people, learn about them, get to know about them so that
Right.
you understand, but don't overthink it. And the third I would say is you can never really estimate or guess what question you're going to get asked. Have the basic hygiene questions ready, and just do your best in terms of when they ask you a question, you can question them again. Ask them, ma'am, is this what I've understood correctly? Take your time and then answer. It's okay. It happens. And if you didn't know one or two questions and they jumped on to the other, don't judge yourself. It happens in an interview.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be happy. Just keep a smiling face. Don't let them know when you're scared, when you're happy. If they see you scared, they might want to grill you. You never know. You don't know the interviewer and their psyche. So yeah, just that, I would
Yeah.
say.
Thank you so much, Gopal, for sharing the nuances and whatever. Guys, one thing that I would like to tell you that, apart from your technical skills, managerial skills, and the critical thinking that you had, how you perform yourself and how you present yourself in the interviews plays a very important role. And this is how you're going to crack IMT as well as Great Lakes. Again, thank you so much, Gopal, for joining with us and connecting and as well as sharing your knowledge so that I believe this will definitely reach to the masses. And this experience that you shared will definitely help the upcoming aspirants who are looking for the B school that you are targeting. Yeah, that's it from my side, Gopal. And finally, which college have you planned to join?
Currently, I also have an offer from Great Lakes, Chennai, PGDM,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm leaning more towards that because it is for experienced professionals, 1 year course, get to go back to the industry faster. So that is currently my preference. Um, so we'll see.
Yeah. So, guys, she's planned to join Great Lakes over IMT Ghaziabad because of the 1 year MBA courses and the pass-based program, and as well as the opportunity course that she's going to get. Yes, Gopal, thank you so much for connecting with us, and it was a nice experience to have some knowledge sharing with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.